Hi, in this video we're going to be creating a retopology of the torso of our character. It's going to be the same process of the last video where we did the retopology of the head. We're going to be following some references too, so I recommend you to get some from Google, and then we can get started. So let's get started. Here I have the same file from the last videos, and let's get straight to the point. I'm going to be selecting the head, the new head that we made with the new topology, and I'm going to select the body. I'm going to press slash on numpad, select the head, and we're going to be going into the edit mode. Tap to go into the edit mode. So I'm going to be selecting this loop here, and I'm going to be adjusting just a bit like this. I'm going to press S, Y, and scale just a bit like this. I'm going to be adjusting these little vertices back here because I want them to be in front of the neck. So I'm going to be doing this. I'm going to turn off this option here and move it around. And now we're going to be selecting the whole loop by pressing Alt and selecting this line here. Now we're going to be pressing E and extruding it like this. Now we're going to be selecting this little verse here, turning on this option, snapping, and proportional editing. Oh yeah, and don't forget that we are using the freeze project in the snap. I'm also going to turn on this little option here, viewport display in front. Now we can work. So I'm going to be selecting this little verse here, and I'm going to be moving it around like this. Same thing for this one, these other ones here, this, and basically for all the other ones, because we want them to be snapping to the original format of the original sculpture, just like this. I'm gonna turn off this little option here, proportional editing, just for now. And I'm gonna be selecting one by one like this. And it's gonna be the same process as we did with the head in the last video. We're gonna be moving it around, adjusting to snap into the original surface of the original sculpture and get a nice mesh based on the references. So I also recommend you to get references from Google. Just search human body 3D character topology and you're gonna be finding a lot of them. I'm gonna be starting by the front right now, and later we can start doing the backs. I'm gonna use this one as a main reference for the neck. So we can see that there's a loop right here in the Adam's apple. I'm gonna be selecting this over here, extruding it, move it around, extrude, move, and always make sure to match the vertices with the ones up there because we're going to be creating faces with them. So I'm going to keep moving the vertices around until we get the shape of the original mesh, but we are retopology based on this one. I'm gonna select this edge, this, and this, and I'm gonna be pressing Ctrl B, like this. So now we have a shape similar to this one here. Now I'm just gonna be adjusting this just for a bit, like this, and move it to the center, like this. Select this little face here and move a bit to the front. Same for these birds here. And now we're gonna keep doing the same shape as we were doing. So this little part here is kind of finished, and now we have to make this little part here around the shoulders and the rest of the neck. It's gonna be the same process. We're gonna be following the reference and following the same shape of the original sculpture. So So for that, I'm gonna be selecting this little edge, extruding it, moving around. Make sure it matches with the ones up there, so we can create faces like this. I mean, clean faces, of course. Extrude, extrude, extrude again, extrude, 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 and it's gonna be the same process. It's pretty easy. F, 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 F. And it's gonna be the same thing for the rest of the neck. One thing to say, we're gonna be doing this little bone here from this face. So we're gonna be doing this, and then we're gonna be making a loop around the shoulder like this, just like the reference, but it's not gonna be right now. It's gonna be after I finish the whole neck. So I recommend you to do the same. Now we're gonna be creating a loop around this area of the shoulders, following this reference. And now this little bone here is gonna be the same process as we did with this loop up here. And now for the chest, we're gonna be using another reference and following the same shape. So I'm gonna be searching another reference here, and we're gonna be following the same idea. I think we can use this one. As we can see, we have a loop here, which is gonna be this loop around here, and another one for the shoulders, which is gonna be around the armpits and the shoulders. So we're gonna be following the same shape. I'm gonna be selecting this little part here, and I'm gonna be extruding to this side. I'm gonna be doing the same thing again, and I'm gonna be creating a loop around the armpits, shoulders, until I come to the back side to this little vert here. I'm gonna be using another reference, which is gonna be the back reference, and I'm gonna be trying to follow the same topology. Now we can create more faces for the backs and then for the chest. I'm gonna start by the backs because I'm already here, and then I'm gonna go to the front view, which is gonna be the chest. If this problem happens with you, like we have to gather these two vertices here, it works okay. Same for this other one, but here we don't have enough vertices. So you can just subdivide by selecting both of them and then subdivide. But it's not gonna be necessary in my case, so you can do that if you need it. I'm gonna be subdividing these three vertices here so I can get a bit more of shape, and it's gonna be making easier to create the faces. So we have the back plate here. I wanted to make a little loop because I want to have this flow, but you can just follow your reference and do the same thing. Now I'm gonna be going to the chest and we're gonna be basically doing the same thing. I'm just going to hide this back view because I don't want to be seeing it for now. So I'm gonna select it and hide. And I'm gonna be working on the chest. So we're gonna be trying to do something similar to this based on our sculpture. And of course, make sure to match the vertices with each other. So this is a chest. It is looking really tasty. And now we're gonna keep doing the same thing for the rest of the body. But now I'm gonna be creating a loop from here to this side until the backs. And then we're gonna be having a whole loop that we're gonna be using to create the belly and the waist. So for that, I'm gonna be extruding these words here, creating a face in between with these four here. And I'm gonna be doing the same thing for the rest. Here, this is gonna match with this. Now we have a loop around the armpits, which is gonna be essential for creating the shoulders and arms in the future. And speaking about it, I'm gonna start doing the part of the shoulders at least for now. So I'm gonna select one of these vertices here, and I'm gonna extrude like this and make sure they match with the ones up here. I think I will have to create one more loop cut in between because I want something a bit more smooth and soft. And without loop cuts and more vertices, this is not going to be possible. And now to finish the loop, I'm gonna be creating a facing in between all of these here, like this. So now we have a full loop that we're gonna be using to create the shoulders and the arms in the future, but not in this video. Now we're gonna be doing kind of the same thing with this part of the chest. So I'm gonna select this, extrude, select this, extrude, and create a face in between them. Move around. And it's gonna be the same thing. We're gonna be creating a loop around this area until we match with the backs, and then we're gonna be closing this area too, creating a nice flow based on our references. Now we're gonna be closing this area of the back. It's gonna be super simple. Now I'm gonna press, oh, something's wrong. This is not supposed to be here. I'm gonna be selecting this, delete versus. And now we deleted this phase here too, so I'm gonna be selecting this, and now we have part of the whole chest. Oh shit, I deleted this part. I'm gonna select this loop, Ctrl plus on numpad, Ctrl plus, Ctrl I, H, and I'm gonna fix because I deleted it by accident. It was a mistake. I recommend you to pay attention so you don't get mistakes like I did. Now it's fixed. Now I think it is okay. Yeah, so now we're gonna keep doing the same thing. We're gonna be extruding this loop, just like we did with the neck. And we're gonna follow the same shape of the first sculpture. And then we're gonna be making the belly, the waist, and part of the groin. That's gonna be creating another loop for the legs, just like we did with the shoulders. So it's gonna be basically just that, and after that we're gonna be finished. And now for the groin and around the legs, we're gonna be creating a loop just like this little loop right here. So we're gonna be moving the birds around, it looks around like this. And then we're gonna be able to create a loop for the legs for the future video. So I'm gonna start by moving these around like this and placing them just like this. And also we're gonna be extruding them, but let's first make sure they are snapped to the first surface of the first sculpture, and then we can continue. Now we're gonna be selecting this little vert here and extruding it around, following the flow of this little area here. And we're gonna be closing this with more vertices, making sure they align with the other ones. So we're gonna be creating faces in between, just like this, and then F, F, F to close. And the same thing for the rest of this little area here. Now we just gotta make a smoother transition because I want it to be really smooth and have a nice look. So it's gonna be making things easier when we create the legs. And now we have to make a loop from here to the back part of his cake. It's gonna be kind of hard because this can be a bit confusing, but I'm gonna start by creating a loop around here, extrude this, create a face here, and from here we're gonna be creating a loop all the way to his cake, and then we're gonna be doing the same thing with the others. So we can create a final loop in between. I'm gonna select this, this, and this other one. Press Ctrl I, H to hide, and now we can work. So now we have this loop here that we're gonna be using to create the legs in the future. But there's a big problem. I'm gonna select slash numpad, and once again, I'm gonna select these vertices. And as we can see, we have to close these areas in between because, I don't want this to be open. This is gonna be kind of weird if this is open. And we have to close it, but this is kind of confusing. We have to basically create a bridge between these vertices here and these other vertices here and make sure they align and have a nice topology. In my case, it has much more edges and loops like around here. So we're gonna be making it a bit harder to create same edges and loops back there. But for that, I'm gonna be pressing Alt 8. We're gonna be able to see the whole torso. And we're simply gonna create a bridge in between. So this little part here, I'm gonna select this part, move to the middle like this, select these three dots and then press F. And now we just gotta close this part here with the one in the front. And for that, I'm gonna try to move it as nice as I can. Like I want it to be kind of smooth and have a nice transition. So I'm gonna be creating one loop cut here, and I'm gonna be creating an edge in between of these ones in the middle and these ones at the corner. Now we have 4 vertices here in the middle and just one here. So I'm gonna be moving this to the side, press Ctrl R around here, and move this to the side, Ctrl R again, move to the side, and once again. So now we have the same amount of vertices as we have in the front. And now we can create faces. And now one more thing, I'm gonna be pressing Ctrl R in the middle, rotate the wheel of the mouse just a bit like this, so we have a bit more of lines. And then the middle one, I'm gonna be selecting completely, move a bit down like this, Ctrl plus on numpad, move down, and now we have a nice bottom part for that area. And now we have a bottom part for in between the legs and between those areas that you know what it is. So I'm gonna be moving this a bit to the middle like this. Same for this one here. Same for this one. And same for this one. Because this loop here, we're gonna be using to create the legs in the future. So I want it to be like pretty smooth and look like a circle in a good way that it doesn't look weird. So I'm gonna select this word, select this little option here, proportional editing, and move to the x-axis like this until we have a nice circle. It doesn't need to be completely a perfect circle, but it has to be as round as possible, because from here we're going to be creating the thighs and the rest of the legs. Alt H, and I think this is looking good. I'm going to press slash on numpad, select the body, the original one, slash once again. I'm gonna select the new Retopology. Gonna go into the edit mode. I'm gonna be selecting all this loop right here. I'm gonna press Ctrl B to have a bit more of curves and a bit more of a nice transition like this. And now I'm gonna be selecting those back parts and move them around according to the first sculpture, because I want it to be really nice and soft and look like a circle again. So I'm gonna move it around according to the first sculpture. Now with this loop, I'm gonna select the whole loop, and then I'm gonna press E, Z, and then S, Z, 0. I'm gonna move it around just a bit according to the first sculpture. Scale it down until it looks similar to the first sculpture again. Same thing from the side view. And from here, from this loop, we're gonna be creating the thighs in the next video, because this video is enough for today. We have the whole topology of the torso. We have a loop for the shoulders and arms, and a loop for the thighs and the rest of the legs. And this is all for this video. This is pretty enough. It looks much cleaner than the original one, and this is the final result. I hope that you got something similar from this. I'm gonna go into the edit mode, press A, M by distance. So this is going to remove some extra verses that may cause trouble in the future. Shift N2 just because. And yeah, that's it. And that's all for this video. We got a much more cleaner mesh with fewer polygons for the torso of our character. And we did it in a way that it's gonna be good for animating and for new textures in the future. Make sure to follow the same shape and follow the same idea. And we're finished for this video. I hope this was useful and easy to understand, and that you got something new from this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe. If you have any doubts, you can comment down here. I'm gonna be trying to answer you all. And that's it. Thanks for watching, and I see you in the next video. Bye.